calf that came a little small and it's not up and nursing, so TSC over here. It's nice enough to fill my water. I bought the bottle and colostrum and milk replacer. I was a little unprepared, and TSC is about 3 miles from the farm and home's about 18 miles the other way, so they hooked me up with some water and we're gonna go save a calf. This is Cody Jones with Jangus Genetics LLC. Just had to take a run to TSC. They were nice enough when I bought a bottle there and some colostrum and milk replacer. The colostrum is the #1 thing when you've got a fresh baby that hasn't got up and nursed. But anyway, I was checking the cows, and we have one that she had a calf that was a little too small. We've had a lot of heat here, and I imagine she just got heat stressed. And anyway, this calf's needing a little help, needing some hydration. So I'll flip you around here. And come on, girls, watch out. You can tell they're a pretty wild bunch here. Come on, girls. Yeah. Anyway, so the main question here is the #1 priority is get the calf hydrated, and the other question is, what do we do with the calf? Now, in this case, this cow's had a calf before that she's taken good care of and weaned. So she's next to the calf. She's interested into the calf. She got him cleaned up. All the things that we're looking for here. And so if we can get this calf up and rolling, we shouldn't have any more issues, theoretically. All right, so we're gonna have to do some farming math. We got this Save a Calf product. Calf colostrum is the #1 thing you want to get in a calf that can't nurse. And that's all the antibodies and stuff. When it gets up, if it gets up and we get her going here, she'll get that from mom, and that's always better. If I had a chute up close, you could milk that cow out. I'm back here about 1.5 miles from the barn, so we're gonna get as good as possible. The smallest amount that they want you to use here is here we go. The entire pouch for 1.5 quarts. That makes sense. So less farming math than I thought we had to do. We'll do a makeshift funnel here though, because it's gonna go everywhere if we don't. And for those of you that have done this before, nothing real special about it. If you have trouble in cold weather, I think this calf will be okay. You can use a drench, especially if they get weak and they don't respond for a few days. You can get a tube or a drench. I don't remember seeing one at TSC, but they probably had one. But what that does is that puts a tube down in their stomach, and it's a last resort. It does a couple things. If you mess up and you get it into their lungs instead of their stomach, which you can prevent by blowing on it.
Some of the newer ones are kind of rumored about.
They've kind of got ways they try to keep you from preventing that happening, but I'll be rubbing on my car, girl. Anyway, that'll definitely kill them if you put liquid into their lungs. So you got to be aware of that. The other thing, if you have to drench them a lot, there's a pretty good potential that you're going to make that throat really sore. and then they're going to want to stop eating. And it's a lifesaver when you need it, and it works well, but it's kind of a last resort, especially when you're 18 miles from home and it's the perfect temperature outside. You're not really expecting any issues. So these girls are starting about 10 to 15 days early here calving, and they're due to move up closer next to the barn, but we haven't got it done yet. So this is the reality how things go.
Just give it a good shake.
And you're not supposed to do this, but I've never had a bottle that I haven't done this to. So the reason not to do it and why they make bottles the way they do is, one, they don't leak, but two, I'm sure it's a little bit more natural. The problem is that the flow's not very good. So like, this calf's never nursed before. It's never been up. It's never experienced that nursing feeling. And so getting a little milk into it and making it, our goal here is to get milk into the calf so it survives. So it's not going to nurse this bottle like a big calf would. And honestly, it's bad to say, and I'm sure it's not great for the calves, but you know, if it takes them 30 minutes to drink a bottle, if you're not sitting there in a rack watching it, or you're not, you know, if you don't just buy your calves for your enjoyments, you've got to get this into the calf. You know, you got 5, 10, 15 minutes. You're not making money with them, but you want to take care of them and do a good job. So what we do here is there's a little cross in here. We just make that a little bit bigger. What I like to do is I like to just see, I want it just to drip. And that way when that calf latches on, it's real easy. Just want a little drip here. I should have shown you before, but you could squeeze that before and it would be really slow to leak out. But now that's good enough that the calf's going to get some in it. And the other thing I'll do is I'll pinch the mouth around it so that it'll actually squeeze some of that milk in. Get them started. This is a live action shot here. This calf is, you can see it's just a little small. It's probably heat stressed. Hasn't nursed yet. All right, so my camera cut out there, but we got this calf here. It's not doing very good. We ended up taking the nipple on that bottle, and I'll show you here. We went ahead and cut it down like I normally do, and we actually had to cut a section off of it. So what happens is it's squirting out, and that makes it so the calf doesn't actually have to work real hard at it, which I guess in an ideal world you go ahead and you buy a second bottle that you haven't done that to, or we did the cross thing so it doesn't, that nursing action is good for them. It seems like you don't want them to finish it too fast. It's unnatural, but anyway, we'll get you over here. I think what we're going to end up doing with this little girl here is we're either going to have to take it home, or we're going to leave it alone and drench it here, or come back in a little bit and maybe come back in a little bit. But the main thing is I don't want her drinking too fast where she gets some in her lungs. She started to swallow, so we got a little swallow in her, which is good. And so we'll get a little bit more in her here. Just don't want to go too fast. Where with a drench, you could just shove that down in there and let them go. We don't want that to happen here. One thing you could do is stimulate the mouth. Just squeeze with your thumb over the top and your hand underneath. But since we have such a good flow coming out of this, I'm not going to do that with this calf. And we got some good swallowing action, which is a good sign. I don't know if she just got excited and turned around and stepped on this calf, or if it's just heat stress or had a long time calving, but I do not like seeing any calves less than 50 pounds, and this is why. At the same time, I don't like seeing any calves over 90 pounds, because a lot of times that cow will have a hard time calving, have a hard time getting calved back, or these little calves that can 50 pounds. If I had an ideal weight, probably about 65, 64, something like that on a heifer, and add 10 pounds for a cow, I think would be about ideal if I could pick one weight. They have enough room to flip them around and get the presentation right. Sometimes those bigger calves, just the cow doesn't have enough room in her body to flip her around to get that proper presentation for calving. And I've heard that over the years. But take a little break here. I'd like to get at least a pint in her before we leave. And what I'll do is I'll go away. I'd be better if I come back in 2 hours or an hour or something, but I don't. Again, this is 18 miles from home. I got wife and kids waiting on me, and that work-life balance thing is kind of kicking in. But we want to give her the best chance we've got. If we get two pints in her tonight, that's probably the best chance she's gonna have, other than taking her home. And if this does work, she'll have her mom here. That mom's claimed her, and that would be the best case scenario. This calf goes ahead, mom watches her through the night, they get up, get going tomorrow. Being as this cow is so attentive, that would be the ideal scenario.